I always enjoy playing off-meta decks, and I think Doorkeeper Thrall has a great spot in the current vintage metagame. Okay, welcome back, vintage gamers, to Saturday afternoon challenge. I'm gonna play some Stifle today, and the reason is because I actually think we're in a decent spot to be playing main deck Stony Silence. We're in a decent spot to be playing this Doorkeeper Thrall. Artifacts and creatures entering don't cause abilities to trigger. It's actually quite powerful into the Raker Thundertrap Trainer metagame we have right now. I also think that like main deck Mindbreak Trap is quite strong right now. Lurrus Frog is a little bit on the downturn outside of the showcase. It was kind of unfortunate because the showcase was a very heavy Lurrus Frog because that's what a lot of the multi-format grinders chose to play. But if you look at the last two challenges this week already, it's very much a different story. Yesterday was a Lurrus PO, Raker Shops, Dredge PO initiative metagame. And the day before that, by far the most played was Sphere Shops with like 10 pilots or something crazy. And then Lurrus PO Dredge Initiative. Like, there's just not that much frog running around. And a lot of these decks are actually pretty weak to Mindbreak Trap. They all kind of rely on fast starts and powerful openers. And so if you can hit their fast start with powerful opener with a pile of counter magic and then lock them out with Stony Silences and Doorkeeper Thralls and Livinias and that kind of thing, should work out pretty well. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. This is, I mean, it's vaguely based on a series of other Stifle Knot lists that have been played in the past. I've played some, CRK has played some, Montolio has played some, Arkin, a couple other players. This isn't, I don't think this has the same components as any of those decks singularly, but maybe a little bit of each one. Yeah, so we're playing 3 Dreadnoughts, which I think is the right number. I think you don't want to overdraw them. And then we're playing a bunch of enablers in Doorkeeper Thrall, Consign, and Dress Down. One of the nice parts here is that Consign and Dress Down are both good on their own. Dress Down, obviously, not as good as it was in the 4 Saga metagame, but Consign, lots of, like I said, lots of Raker, lots of mana crypts and stuff floating around. Makes it actually a little bit stronger. We're at 3 swords. I don't know if the answer is like 2, 3, or 4 swords. It's kind of hard to say because you don't actually need as many swords when there's not as much frog, but there's also some rising mono white initiative for whatever reason. So I don't want to go like skimp too deep on that. Sideboard, I have like a variety of Dredge Hate, but I'm going to stick with some Rav Traps. But I also have a Containment Priest and a Rest in Peace to make my opponent have to keep in different kinds of removal. I do have some pro white creatures for the mono white initiative matchup. That's a leftover from like a Montolio build. I decided to keep it. And I do have a Seal of Cleansing for the Sphere Shops matchup. We can go up to full 4 Consigned to Memory as well, and then obviously a pile more of Stony Silence. Yeah. So it's a very fair deck. I didn't include stock ups or ponders or anything like that. So we are quite low on card draw, and that could come back to bite us. We'll see. But I wanted to be like light Mox and Stony Silence rather than full Mox and stock up. Maybe that's a bad idea, but that's how I wanted to approach this format. I'm including a Tamiyo as an additional like threat that has the ability to theoretically draw some cards and be somewhat like a sub plan B win condition, but I don't know if it's actually any good. I don't think it's ever really bad. I just don't know that it plays super well into the format as a whole. Yeah, that's kind of what's going on here. I expect it lines up into the meta fairly well. I'm not exactly sure how strong a Dreadnought is in particular, but I do think Doorkeeper Thrall is actually quite a nice one. Being a flash flyer lets you hold up all of this counter magic and Dress Down and Doorkeeper Thrall and lets you play into Mindbreak Trap more. We actually have quite a bit of flash with Dress Down and Doorkeeper Thrall and all these counter spells. So I think our deck plays well with Mindbreak Trap. We'll see if any of that comes out to be true. It's a lot of theory and not a lot of testing. I don't usually do, unless my idea is outlandish, I don't usually do a ton of testing before tournament. I just, I'm at the point where I can look at a deck list and tell you how it will play theoretically into the field. And I have reasonably high expectations for today. So I will see you in round 1 of this vintage challenge. I am happy to announce the dates for high-stakes, proxy-friendly vintage in 2026. The legendary NYSE returns to Long Island in New York on June 6th. This $500 entry fee tournament will pay out 8 pieces of unlimited power. The Oklahoma Land Run returns in 2026 on July 10th through 12th at the Reed Convention Center in Oklahoma City. Play Friday Team Trios, Saturday Legacy for a Mox Sapphire, and Sunday Vintage for a Mox Emerald. Event links can be found in the description below. I hope to see you there. Let's battle. All right, round 1 against possible Raker. I have a cat. I'm on the draw. I have a negation, but I have no blue or white mana. No, what a garbage hand. I mean, if this hand had a fetch land over a wasteland, I'd keep it. Negation is kind of an awkward card against Raker. I don't really like it. It hits top Tez and the One Ring, but it doesn't hit Raker itself, which is quite annoying. And again, like I told chat, the opponent is double queuing the Modern Showcase right now, so we're probably going to be in and out of opponent making plays. If you're on YouTube, throw that on 2x speed. If you're in chat, we'll try to fill the downtime. You have to choose between 5 Mox versus the Lotus. I would rather have 5 Mox, including a Pearl, than a Lotus for mono white, I think. I could be wrong, though. I don't know. I think Pearl and Lotus are, like, the most important, and then the rest are not that important. Like, you can play Elvish Spirit Guides, but... I don't know. I think you're okay with either, honestly. Because I think technically you're okay with none. Every white mana producer is important for mono white because the mana is so bad. Unfortunately, I have to mulligan this hand because I just don't think it lines up. It does anything. Obviously, we're on a double mulligan already. This one, 2 forces, put away the Dreadnought is fine. I don't particularly like this hand, by the way. I think that fully reactive hands against Raker are not very good. Because against Jewel, fully reactive hands are quite good because you can, like, they are investing more to play their high power payoffs. And Raker isn't investing that much to play their payoffs, and they have a lot more payoffs. So, like, forcing my opponent's first 2 plays here and not, you know, threatening a combo means that I don't believe this hand is, like, particularly great against Raker, unfortunately. So... this is kind of the power of Mishra's Workshop, letting you play 3 drops on turn 1 through Grim Monolith if need to be. If it's a Ring or a Tezzeret, I'm going to counter either. So, Mana Vault. Tezzeret. I'm going to negate that. It's going to stifle their mana, not let them get Sensei's Tops, etc., etc. I'm going to be very far from ever casting this cruise, so just pitching it. If they have a second Tezzeret, I will counter that as well. If they have a Raker... a key is interesting. I don't think I'm allowed to counter the key, though. The key definitely gives them access to unlimited mana here, but I think that's acceptable. Like, I feel like I need to be able to counter that. Okay, well, I had to have 2 counters on my turn 1 here, or I'd be in trouble. The problem is going to be... I guess they can't untap these at the moment, so if they draw Raker, that's actually a dead draw, but... I currently have no action in my hand, like we talked about. So if they draw like a Scrawling Crawler here, that's probably their best draw. Something that mana that lets them start untapping is their like next best draw, probably. I guess Time Vault is a pretty good draw as well. Did include a Surveil land because our deck is a little underpowered. I'm going to definitely bin this Dreadnought. We don't want to draw that, but we want to return it with Lurrus later. So it's kind of a nice little play right there. We drew an Ancestral after binning our dead card. Surveil lands are broken. Don't let anyone tell you differently. Stony Silence should seal this up if we can make it there. I mean, this is just beautiful. Beautiful deck building, right? Surveil land, get rid of bad cards that can be returned with Lurrus later. Your main deck Stony Silence is found off your draw spell. It's quite nice. Between a Swords of Plowshares and a Stony Silence, I don't think Raker is really going to come back from that. Raker, especially game 1, is extremely weak to Null Rod effects. Post board, they get to play Masticores, but you know, I'm not removing any of my removal. I'm going to put in more removal, so I think that's like in my mind, the biggest problem with Raker is that you are an all-in combo deck that is playing a kind of weak aggro plan B, and you are extremely susceptible to Nordon. I wish we will bring in 2 more Stony Silences, a Seal of Cleansing, a Swords to Plowshares, Consign to Memory, Consign to Memory. It's very hard not to have cards that line up well against Raker. I know I always say that, and I know it makes some Raker players mad, but when you think about it, like, this is... I think Raker being as good as it is kind of abnormal for decks that are sideswiped by hate for other decks. What do I mean by that? The classic example is Reanimator. Reanimator, such a powerful legacy deck that it has many cards banned in it. You see no Reanimator play in Vintage. Why is that? Because Reanimator gets hit by all of the graveyard hate that is targeted at Dredge. So it's, you know, it's taking collateral damage from a matchup that's not really the reason it's being targeted. It's not actually being targeted. Something else is being targeted, but that just happens to be good against it. And so you see a similar thing where people are playing Stony Silences and anti-artifact combo to beat things like Jewel. I mean, Raker is definitely part of it. It's a big enough meta share now, but you know, there's always been artifact combo decks in the history of Vintage. Now there's like extreme presence of creature decks in Vintage, so you're seeing lots more removal. And so, like, I think Raker actually would do extremely well in, if it was printed in some of the earlier metagames of Vintage that I played that were like less creature based, because you're playing at your core like a creature combo. And so you're getting hit by anti-creature, anti-artifact, anti-combo stuff. So, I mean, you're about to see why I have a Stony Silence. It's not really Dreadnought that I think is well positioned. I think Stony Silence, Swords to Plowshares, Doorkeeper Thrall to a lesser extent are well positioned. Dreadnought I don't really care about. I'm not going to lie to you right now. I think Dreadnought is whatever. Dreadnought is kind of just a byproduct of the deck we're putting together. I wanted to put together, no matter what I wanted to do today, I wanted to put together a Stony Silence deck, and I didn't really want to play a full control deck. I really dislike not having powerful aspects in your deck, and Dreadnought gives you like something that you can play to as a way to close a game. Doorkeeper Thrall turns off the pinging portion of Fleshraker, if I remember correctly. So quite strong. Notably, though, they do have Talon Gates, which is a really nice creature answer to creature-based hate, but not a good answer to Stony Silence. And like I said, if there's a lot of Raker running around, then something that looks like what I have put together here is going to be very effective, especially because it's Stony Silence. I almost considered playing 2 Stony Silence main. I just think there's enough decks in the format where Stony Silence is a dead draw that I didn't really want to include 2 Stony Silence in the main, so. You also have a nice deck that can play a couple basics. It's really just a nice, I actually think it's just a nice deck. I think these like slightly more aggressively tuned Lurrus decks are a little underexplored in general. So as I said, we're really at game 1, and we get to bring in a bunch of cards game 2 because we have Consigns, we have Stonies, we have Seal of Cleansing, and we have Swords to Plowshares. We're already like heavily mainboarded for this, but we do have some dead cards and Bobble on the Draw, Flusterstorm. Probably can get rid of basic planes. Yo, what's up, Xavier? Thanks for joining us. I don't think we have any need for Probe. I don't particularly like Negation, but I don't think Negation is bad, so. I'm thinking I don't mind Lavinia. I might just take out Pierce on the draw. Especially because I have all these consigns anyways. Seems reasonable. I am taking out 4 blue cards, bringing in 2, but I'm not playing like Commandeer. I'm playing 6 forces, and I have a pretty reasonable blue count as is, so. But yeah, I mean, I think like these kind of blue, white, fair, Stony Silence decks are really good answers into Raker. So yeah, part of the metagaming for sure. Metagaming is really interesting because it's really funny. Like yesterday, DFA won the challenge with my Doomsday list, or maybe it's not my Doomsday list. It was a Doomsday list. I guess I can look. That was not Lurrus based. Chain of Vapor main, Ponder Preordained, 4/3 Fluster. No, it's my Doomsday list. Okay, it's my exact Doomsday list, and it's like really funny because I was basically a week, not really a week too early per se, but I played Doomsday because I thought the showcase meta would be similar to what the challenge meta is right now, and that wasn't the case. But the challenge meta right now is like very exploitable by different ways of playing the game. Ooh boy. Yeah, I don't think I was wrong, not me. What I think I was wrong about was about like the challenge meta. I think I was wrong about like what people would play in the showcase. I think like you're not seeing any frog played right now really in challenges. It's just the showcase picked up a huge portion of frog gaming. So I don't know. Interesting things to think about. What about this hand, chat? This hand is really unfortunate because I have one of my mocks in to play out an early Stony Silence, but I don't have access to whites right away. It's really like annoying to keep this when I have access to 6 forces and 2 Mindbreak traps, but yeah, it's a Stony Silence and a removal spell that I can play on turn 1. So, like, as long as their hand isn't completely broken, we have the ability to play towards what we have, and then we're also not at risk of our Stony Silence dying to a Masticore because we have Swords and Seal. So, I think that I can play any deck well enough, so I personally value metagaming higher. That's not obviously true of everyone, and I certainly don't have like all decks at the same level. My PO play is obviously much stronger than my, I don't know, Bizarre play or something. But like, if I had a tournament where I needed to win and I thought that was, Dredge was by far the best choice for the weekend, like I could just play it. So this is actually really good because this means that their land is not very okay. I mean, they're dead. Their land is Urza Saga. I'm just gonna wasteland Urza Saga, play Jet, get Tundra, Stony Silence them, and they're just dead. It's kind of like the best possible outcome, right? Okay, maybe they were baiting for their workshop, but like, or maybe they ripped a workshop. All right, well, maybe I'm wrong. I kind of thought Saga Go was a sign of weakness, but we'll see. One of the things you can lose to from through Stony Silence is if they ulti Tezzeret. All right, that's not bad here because we have access to the Stony Silence. I'm mostly worried about this Tezzeret ulting on us, but we'll see what happens. I'm pretty sure they must have ripped the workshop because if I guess they theoretically could have ripped Monolith, right? Whenever an artifact you control enters. Yeah, Thrall will stop them from being able to gain things. That's true. But I have to play a Stony Silence first, so if my opponent plays like 2 artifacts off the top, then it's unfortunate. I mean, this is like a very strong turn 1, so I assume they didn't have one of these pieces. I don't know which of the pieces they didn't have. It could have been Monolith, it could have been Workshop. I don't think you play Saga Go if you have Monolith and Tez. Or even Monolith, Workshop, and Ring. So, like, I think it's just either a Workshop or the Monolith. I would probably want to draw my card no matter what, so I think they should just activate right away. It's fine. Like even if I play Stony Silence, they still want the one card because they want to ultimate Tezzeret, so they need to play 2 artifacts next turn. Like I can lose this game to Tezzeret ultimate here for sure. It's gonna be a huge problem, unfortunately, because they have this workshop. Tezzeret is when it enters, so like my best draw is actually probably Negation or Force of Will, so I can counter one of the 2 artifacts and then play a Thrall. Well, we don't know what the other 3 cards in their hand are. Maybe they had Ancient Tomb Saga, right? They mulliganed once. Who knows? If they had an Ancient Tomb, then I would suspect that they drew the Monolith instead. Thrall also stops Portable Hole. That's part of why I was saying that I think Thrall is pretty decent against Jeskai PO, because it's good against Portable Hole and it's good against Trainer. But it's still a creature that gets swords, so. Does that change anything? Tamio is not a very good card with a Stony Silence in play. It lets me hold open swords. There's kind of no reason to play a Tamio. I'd rather hold it. I mean, I think I just might lose this Tezzeret, unfortunately. It's kind of the problem with keeping a Stony Silence hand that has no force. If I can not have this Tezzeret ultimate right now, and I can draw a land, then I can play Doorkeeper Thrall, and then I think we'll be okay. But I was pretty happy when I saw Saga go, and then all of a sudden on turn 2, 4 cards came down. I don't think Tamio is like so bad that I would board it out if I'm playing towards Stony Silence. Like I don't think. I guess technically Spell Pierce would be better here, so that's maybe an interesting idea. Is maybe board this out in game 3 for Spell Pierce on the play. But like Spell Pierce is so bad on the draw typically, and Spell Pierce would have been pretty bad if I hadn't ripped Petal to play Stony. So, and also ripping Petal was a lot worse than ripping land. So lots of things like that. But there's not a lot I can do here. I do have... So if the game goes very long and I hit land drops, I do have Lurrus looping Seal of Cleansing, and then swords can answer the 1 ring with counters on it. So like I could theoretically have a seal every turn for the Tezzeret ulti every turn, and I could technically win. But like I said, I'm like pretty far away from that. I'm multiple land drops away. Lands are the most the biggest portion of my deck. I have a huge amount of lands in my deck, so yeah, opponent's playing the Modern Showcase, so we are killing time in between actions. It is what it is. Can't do much about that. It's kind of just part of Magic Online. You can type in, it should be there. You typed in !mark Decklist, right? It should just be the first listing on the deck on the Mox field as always. If it's not, then I did something wrong and then I can fix it, but looks like it's fine. I mean, I see it there, and there's 79 views already, so certainly isn't hidden. It's my laziness compromise for both stream and for my YouTube links. Yeah, I might want to like standardize the naming convention a little bit more. I don't exactly know. Like I could maybe standardize the naming convention a little bit more. I could like put the date of the stream in the title, maybe. That might be a good idea. Because technically the date of the stream is in the YouTube description as well. My opponent is not playing any artifacts. So their hand must be Flesh Raker. I mean, they might have just skipped through their main phase. If they play nothing, it means their hand is like Flesh Rakers and no land. So they didn't have another land after either. So they had to have kept Workshop. There's no way they kept Saga no other land. So they must have not had Monolith. They must have drawn Monolith for the first turn of the game. So no lands, no artifacts that they can cast in 5 cards. I don't understand that. That can't be possible. All right, well, hopefully we can just rip a land here and play a Doorkeeper Thrall. That's so good. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah. One thing they can always do is Talon gates my Doorkeeper Thralls. And then play a bunch of things in Ultimate Tezzeret. The Doorkeeper Thrall will at least pressure Tezzeret, so that's good. And it, of course, turns off the static here. But it's only while it's in play, and this thing doesn't stop Talon Gates' trigger, only artifacts and creatures. Feel like we're just gonna like play this whole match where opponent is not even here. And like I said, I apologize to YouTube viewers. If you don't already watch my videos at 2x speed, I highly recommend it. I don't know if I'm what's the verbal equivalent to legible? Intelligible? No. What's the word I'm looking for? When you're on 2x speed, obviously everyone listens to things differently, but because I don't do cutting down coherent. Yeah, that's kind of it. Because I don't do any cutting down of downtime, because I make this like a live stream product where I'm constantly talking, it can be a little rough. That's a pretty good draw. All right. Well, I think I'm going to win this series pretty easily. Not that opponent put a lot of fight up. I think that by far the best Dreadnought enablers are Consign, Dress Down, and Thrall. And so I try not to play other cards than those. And I don't even like think Thrall is like amazing. But it certainly is, you know, it certainly has good text against the format, and Flash is quite nice. So I think it plays into like the little bit of the draw go 1-mana counter aspect of the deck a little bit better than something else. Ancestral Recall, target myself. My opponent probably just concedes. You know, I mean, like, I'm on 2 Consign, 2 Spell Pierce, Flusterstorm, Ancestral, Brainstorm. Like, I can play, and Tamiya, I can play Drago Control. I think it's actually better for me to not strip mine this workshop and play a second Doorkeeper, or have a second option, have another option for Doorkeeper Thrall. Because they haven't been able to play anything off of Workshop anyways, and the way I lose this game is my opponent going Talon Gates, Doorkeeper Thrall, Ulti Tezzeret. So I'll hold open, Consign, Doorkeeper Thrall. Yeah, opponent's just not... I mean, I hope they're doing well in the Modern Challenge, because they didn't really have a... I hate double queuing. I think it is really bad. for like you as a person double queuing and kind of for the community in general. But I know opponent is a powerful wizard doing other formats, so. Why not play Tameo before Ancestral? Because I wanted the ability to use my mana. I think flipping a Tameo is not particularly relevant here. I mean, it's not bad. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a reasonable... So it's another reasonable line. But I feel like... I did the wrong thing. I feel like... I don't know. Like I said, I'm playing 4 consigns. I have Wasteland. I guess it would not affect my Wasteland, right? Because I already had the land in play. It's definitely good with this Doorkeeper Thrall draw, because now I can play a second Doorkeeper Thrall and not have to use the land. I don't know. I'm not actually sure which one is better there, but I think it's reasonable to criticize there. Okay, here we go, round 2. Up against DFM, who just won yesterday's challenge with Doomsday. I don't know if he's gonna run it back today. Actually, funny enough, Doorkeeper Thrall stops Thassa's Oracle. That is an interesting hand now, isn't it not? I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm keeping this. I just need to hit on my brainstorm, right? Surely I hit blue card, fetch land. Yes, I did. Wow, that's about as good as it could possibly be, actually. Fetch land, wasteland, blue card, 1 mana counter. Wow. Brainstorm's a little busted, huh? Brainstorm might be a little broken, huh? Basic Island Preordain. You got it. All right, so we're playing up against Doomsday. I think our deck should be quite good against Doomsday. I think I'm gonna let this go. Maybe that was a poor decision. I'm keeping that. I don't know. I'd rather hit like the payoff off of this Lotus than hit the Lotus itself. Could be wrong though. They have 1 main deck chain. If I like let Doomsday resolve and then play Doorkeeper Thrall, like it might just be lights out. Like they're playing my list from the showcase. If they cast Doomsday here, I'm pretty sure I'm letting it resolve. I've got Force, Misstep, Flusterstorm, Doorkeeper Thrall. Am I crazy, chat? Do you believe in me? Or... Not only that, but like I can stop Oracle. So like if they make a pile that's 2 Oracles, like... I actually think this is like better than a counterspell. I kind of only have 3 counterspells, really. Because I'm pretty sure I'm casting this. And I'm pretty sure my opponent's going to try to win the game on this turn, so... Well, they were in stream before the thing started, so they know my deck list. So I assume they're going to build a pile with a Chain of Vapor. Also, like, if you are trying to win a challenge and you'll go as far as you'll go without cheating, like, I post my deck list everywhere, you know? Like, you could just go to my Mox field. I would rather people didn't do that, but, like, that's the thing I put on the internet. Like, you know, looking at my hand in stream, that's cheating, but going to my Mox field is hard to say that's cheating. So... they built their pile with Chain. So I'm going to respond to Gush because I don't want them to have force for Oracle. 1 force, 2 force, 3 force. Yeah, there's 1 force as well. 1 force, 2 force, 3 force. Okay. So I'm gonna respond to this gush by resolving my Doorkeeper Thrall. Gush resolves. Ancestral Recall. Ancestral Recall resolves. Sapphire. Chain. Misstep. Force. I guess if they have double fluster, I lose, but actually, if they have force and fluster, I lose. Maybe I die here. Hmm. One fluster. Wow, I lost this game. I think they built their pile. It kills me. I had to actually hit one of their counter spells. Huh. That's crazy. Oh, it didn't. Wow. It was enough. So, wait, I'm confused. So this is a fluster. This is a fluster. Oh, if they fluster again, they don't have enough blue mana. Okay. Wait a second. Doesn't mean... Oh, they already used force. Okay. Yep. I was like, maybe they could have forced my force and then had fluster for my fluster. So their hand right now is land, Oracle, Flusterstorm, but they can't cast second Flusterstorm because they don't have enough mana. I think if my opponent had made a... I'm trying to think if they could have made like a less all-in pile. I mean, they even put a Sapphire. This pile for them only loses if I have Mental Misstep, Flusterstorm, Force Blue card, right? And Dreadnought. Like, I mean, like, for them to lose, I would have had to have exactly like all the stuff I had, I think. Yeah, I mean, it was really close. Oh, I guess technically I have main deck Mindbreak Trap, so that could have also been quite... My deck is so good versus the 2 decks I played against today. No, I actually think that my opponent's pile is like pretty self-explanatory. If you know that I'm on... if you know that I'm on the deck I am on, which they do, they were in stream before, then like that's the pile you would make. You would make a Gush Ancestral pile with Chain, Fluster, Force. Like that's just, I think, a normal pile to make there. Like, I mean, he told me he left the stream, so like I know he knows that I have Doorkeeper Thrall, and so he knows to put a chain in the pile. I'm gonna bring in the 2 consigns and take out swords, and then I actually don't really have other cards to bring in because I'm so pre-boarded for this, so I might have to keep a swords in my deck. Is there a card here that's better than swords? I guess technically Stony Silence is better than swords. Yeah, I said that. I said that. I expected him to put chain in his pile. I mean, my deck is like as good as you can possibly be against Doomsday, right? I mean, this feels like a great meta choice, a great choice for the day, if I have to say so. If I want to toot my own horn a little bit more. I don't know. There's a reason I wanted to register Doorkeeper Thrill today. It wasn't really Doomsday, but like Raker and Doomsday, etc. This hand's good. It's not great, but it's good. Basic Island again. I should go look at my deck list. Well, I expect him to bring in. So he has one chain. I expect him to bring in Snuff Out and maybe some amount of Unable to Screams. Another Wasteland. I think it's better for me to just pass with Flusterstorm and up than play a Bauble here. I feel like I could just die. I wouldn't die on the same turn, but... Well, I immediately got punished for not playing my Bauble because my opponent played a Black Lotus. I think I'd rather have blue card Force than use this Probe right now. Yep, I mentioned that as well. And their mono white is on the rise. Like I said, when I woke up this morning, I knew what I wanted to play. Unlike yesterday, where I just like didn't have any time. Today, I knew what I wanted. So beautiful. Maybe I could have played Wasteland here so that my opponent can't fetch this, but I kind of almost want them to fetch this because then I can Wasteland it on the next turn. They put an Unable to Scream in the yard, so they did bring in some amount of removal here. I don't know. I could see maybe arguing both ways on whether or not to like play Wasteland and have my opponent have to hold their fetch, but it's not like they can return this Unable to Scream with Lurrus because they're playing Street Wraiths. I'd like to... Oh, I was hoping my opponent would not go for this. Dark Ritual. Demonic Tutor. Necro, maybe? No. Doomsday. I like forcing this because if they let go, I can end of turn Thrall, Wasteland, and have everything. And if they Flusterstorm, then I'm more likely for my Flusterstorm to work. I think. Force back, and they had a blue mana tapped. Don't know if they're baiting me with that. If they have Flusterstorm and a draw spell, then I'll die if I Flusterstorm. No. If they have to have exactly Probe, Street Wraith, or Gush, because I can pay for one Flusterstorm, and that makes them have to pay for a Flusterstorm. Whereas for them to win through Thrall, they simply need to Ancestral into Lotus Chain win. So, like, to beat Thrall, they would just need to have, like, a draw 2. But if they have Fluster and 1 mana cantrip, if they hadn't tapped that blue, would I just be slamming Fluster here? I think I'm letting this resolve. I have a Wasteland and a Doorkeeper Thrall and a Fluster and a Bauble. Like, if they don't even have a cantrip, then I just play Doorkeeper Thrall, Wasteland them, play Bauble, and hold up Flusterstorm Bauble. So like if they put a Black Lotus in their pile, it's like super bad. I think I can just let this happen. What did they? I should have looked what they pitched to Force. They pitched another Force to Force. I'm just trying to figure out if he was leveling me with the blue tap, or he actually has Flusterstorm. Because I actually think that leveling me with a blue tap is within DFA's range, which I would not typically give the player the benefit of the doubt to have that in their range. One Flusterstorm, two Flusterstorms. There is a missing Flusterstorm. Force. No missing forces. They're passing the turn. I think they have a Flusterstorm in their hand then. So I think this works out great for me because my opponent built a pile with Black Lotus. So I'm going to play a Doorkeeper Thrall here and then go Wasteland Bauble, hold up Flusterstorm. Okay. This just feels so impossible for the Doomsday player. I just have so many good cards here. Like if their last card is Flusterstorm, it means they're not really removing this either. Oh boy, I really like how I played these games. I think I played them really well. I definitely don't always say that. But it's also a lot to do with the deck I chose to register. Playing against Raker and Doomsday lines up perfectly for Doorkeeper Thrall, just like we wanted. Yo, GG's DFA. This was this is a hard matchup for you. Did you have Fluster in your hand, or were you faking it? I think you might have had it. Yeah, okay. Did you have a cantrip as your last card with the Fluster, or was it just a Fluster? Because I guess if you don't have a cantrip follow-up with the Fluster, then it doesn't matter. Chain Fluster was your hand? Okay. So I think you were actually screwed no matter which one I chose to do then. I was holding Wasteland and Bauble in my hand, so I had all the action I needed really. So really tough to play Doomsday against this kind of stuff. Welcome to round 3 up against possible Lurrus Breach Gamer. I think a worse matchup for sure than our first two, with Doorkeeper Thrall not doing anything. But oh, it's not Breach, sorry. It's actually PO. It's PO Breach. So slightly better. Because we can turn off trainers with Doorkeeper Thrall and portable holes with Doorkeeper Thrall. They play a lot of different formats. Standard and Pioneer. Oh, wait. Doesn't look like they revealed a Lurrus. Oh, I think we're waiting for them to reveal a Lurrus right now because it's their clock and I'm on the play. So we're waiting for them to reveal Lurrus. Yeah, so we have some extra damage from Doorkeeper Thrall. This will stop Thundertrap Trainer and Portable Hole, which is not terrible, but obviously the Lurrus PO decks, they play, I guess, looks like main board just Flame of Anor and Portable Hole for this player. Sideboard, a bunch of swords. They'll probably bring in a bunch of swords. Oh, yeah, okay. Stock up. Just the normal kind of stuff. And we'll have to consider if we want to play anything against. I mean, I think Stony Silences looks okay. Looks quite good here. They do have one main Chain of Vapor. I can blame myself for that one, I think. Seal would be an interesting inclusion. Rest in Peace is a theoretical inclusion. I wouldn't play Ravenous Trap, but I think I don't know. Rest in Peace does hit my own Lurrus. Not sure if that's good. I like Stony Seal, though. Or swords. Maybe I board in Rest in Peace because it's basically swords against Lurrus. Probably. I think this matchup should be okay. We'll see how it goes. We'll wait for this player to show up, and I'm going to just pause. Okay, we're back. Opponent's here. They've revealed a Lurrus. We're on the play. We have our main deck Stony Silence versus probable Lurrus PO Breach, Force Misstep, Wasteland. Kind of love it. I do not mind the look of this. Let's see. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Thank you. Appreciate that. Hopefully our opponent's down to battle now. Don't know. Maybe they're playing some more Magic too. We've had some had a Magic of Player 1. No, just us. All right, Mulligan 6. Sweet. All right, here we go. What do we got? I'm excited to see how this matchup plays out. This is I think it's reasonable to say that our first two matchups were more lopsided in deck construction than this one will be. But we do have some nice things going for us. Stony Silence is quite an upgrade over Null Rod in this matchup because Flame of Venor can't kill Stony Silence. And while post-board, I think Lurrus PO is pretty good against Stony Silence and Null Rod effects, pre-board it can be tough. Of note, opponent probably has a Portable Hole main and a Chain main, so they do have two answers to Stony Silence. Not some kind of hard lock or anything. I will say there's also like lots of hands inside of the PO deck where you just don't care about getting Null Rodded. You just play lands and play trainers and stock ups and stuff. But between Wasteland, Stony Silence, and some counter magic here, and our opponent mulliganing to 5 at least, now they're down to 4. Should be in a nice spot. All right, opponent's at 4 cards in hand, and we've got some hateful action here. We've got good coverage on Ancestral, which is their best way to recover. I like what we're looking at. Basic Island. It's quite good here. And Trainer. Oh, that's a great start. For a Mold of 4. It's kind of what you want to see. Should be able to take them off of stock up with a Stony Silence here. They got Mental Misstep. Wow. Okay. I'll have to keep that in mind. I'm going to go get a Meticulous Archive. I think I would rather just bin this Jet. I don't think I need to get ahead on mana like that. And I don't think I need to Time Walk either. So I'm just going to play Stony Silence. Opponent is attacking. We'll see if they have extra lands at all. Doesn't look like it. Ancestral. So they can have upwards of 2 Flusters, but their last list had no Flusters. It had a negation though. So I think I'm interested in just, I guess they have a Misstep. I actually can't cover myself from Fluster no matter what because of Misstep or Misstep. But I should cover myself for negation at least. So I think I'll just pass to their upkeep and cast Ancestral. All right, Misstep, Misstep, Ancestral. Okay. And they looks like they're attacking. Maybe they didn't hit a land. Mind Break. I like just walking here. See if we can build out our mana a little bit more. Am I interested in cycling a Dress down? I think I can wait. Oh my god. That's so illegal. Sorry, opponent. Strip mine on your basic. It's going to be really hard for them to build the mana they need to get out of this game between Stony Silence and Wasteland already in play. All right. I'm going to get a Lurrus going here. And I'll return Jet. Why not? I guess the reason why not is in case I wanted to treasure cruise it away. There's a blue-black land. Spell Pierce. Okay. I'll attack. I'll gain lifelink. I haven't played a land yet, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a dress down. That way, if I hit a land drop, I can play the land, go to my end step, let dress down die, and then replay it. Vexing Bauble is not a card I want to play here. That would not be very good. Oh, another land. I don't have another wasteland, so I do have an Urza Saga, though. That'll help close this game out. I'm going to go to end step and pull my dress down from the yard here. And then I did draw a Dreadnought. I'm just going to get rid of my Bauble, which is dead. Oh, they hit a Saga. Won't be able to make any constructs if dress down is my way of getting a Dreadnought in play. That is unfortunate for my opponent. I ripped a wasteland. Gonna hit their blue source. I think I'm interested in dress down. I'm gonna cast this Cataxian Probe. I want to see what they got. Portable Hole, Snapcaster, Force, Tundra, and Mana Crypt. Yo, Sean, thanks for the raid. Sorry today's challenge didn't go so well. Appreciate it. I will Spell Pierce your Portable Hole. You will Force. I will negate your Portable Hole. And then you'll die. That went about as well as it could. Obviously, opponent had to mulligan a lot in that game. But now we're going to game 2. I said I liked Stony Silence. I said I liked Seal of Cleansing. I said I liked maybe Rest in Peace instead of playing Swords. Which I think I still agree with that statement. And then... I think I like everything else too. I guess I can get rid of planes here. Shouldn't need a planes. All right, let's try this. Already pretty pre-boarded again. Like I said, we have traps and stuff. We have tons of counter magic. One thing I'm a little worried about post-board is if my opponent like swords all of our creatures or something. But I don't know. Looks good. The main deck Stony Silence has been incredible, which is kind of why we played it today. It looks like, I mean, there isn't a great, like, I guess Frog is the best main deck Stony Silence deck, but I feel there should be some other options inside of blue-white that people just aren't exploring as much. Not even only Lurrus. I still feel like a blue-white Riddler deck is quite playable. But there could be like blue-white control with Wan Chi Tongs and Stony Silences. It's a lot of options. Vintage still feels like it has more decks than it has players willing to build. I'd be interested to see if, you know, we ever had like a truly meaningful Vintage event, how people would approach building for the format. Obviously, showcase season is nice, but it turns like most of like the other format grinders don't. They'll play the vintage event, but they won't brew for the vintage event. Maybe they'll brew a little bit for the Mox qualifier, the 32 player event. That's certainly true. I remember helping, or at least talking with Tristan the one time he qualified. He was looking to put together a meta breaking blue white PO deck at the time. We didn't come up with a good build though, so I think he played Frog. I think the thing we were missing at the time, it was pre Thundertrap Trainer adoption. Not pre Thundertrap Trainer existing, but pre Thundertrap Trainer adoption. I got a cat. I've got Stony, Traps, Probe, Pierce, Throttle. Yeah, seems reasonable. Seems very reasonable. See what their 7 looks like this time, though. Underground Sea, Mox Opal, Vexing Bauble. Okay. Saga Gaming. It's a pretty easy spell pierce on the Merchant Scroll. And then if we don't draw our own land for Saga, it's kind of a land. The Stony Silence could end up hurting us a little bit, but we have Dress Downs in our deck, so I like the idea of locking them in on this right now. I guess theoretically my opponent can't counter this no matter what, so. Yeah, always remember to refresh your stream if you end up too far behind. See if they end up with another land to play Saga tokens here. That would be the big hurt. Yeah, they have an Academy. Okay. One thing we can do is we can play a Doorkeeper Throw and get a Dreadnought off of our Saga if we miss here, which we did. Quite unfortunate. Yeah, I'm gonna get a Doorkeeper Throw and play here. I think I'm gonna do it. I think I wait. Because they're gonna make a construct here. I just don't want them to have access to like Hardcast Force, I guess. I don't think anything they tutor for matters. I mean, our Dreadnought will be larger than these, but they'll be able to like get white mana or red mana to be able to kill it, so. One thing we can do is we can make our own construct and a Dreadnought, but we don't have a lot of artifacts, so. It's hard for us to get artifacts in play because of the Vexing Bauble. But as long as our Dreadnought survives and is bigger than these tokens, we can get to our Dress Downs. And then once we have our Dress Downs, I think we'll be in a good spot. Also, a Wasteland on this Academy would help a lot. Throw will at least stop like a trainer from triggering, so. This game's still a little precarious. Opponent had a lot of power, but we'll see. And then we drew a Force, so a dead card. Think we would rather just have a construct than floating and playing Lavinia. I don't think Lavinia is. I guess Lavinia is stopping PO at the moment. I don't have any good tutors here, right? But I mean, I have not tutors besides Dreadnought. No. I think I'm gonna play a Lavinia. Attack for 1. This only stops PO if they don't have a land, but this Bauble is locking me down quite a bit, and I don't have the mana to get up to like Hardcast Trap. My best draw is Dress Down and Wasteland. They have the land. So now they can get white or red mana. Looks like they're getting red mana. Thunder Trap turned off by Troll, but they're going to go Flame of Anor, killing my Dreadnought and my Lavinia. Yeah, this is like, if they just hit lands, like, it's so bad. Wait, what did they do? They went draw 2, kill Dreadnought. I guess that's pretty reasonable as well. Yeah, that was really bad for me, I must say. I'm going to take 10 here. Basically the worst possible outcome. Oh, I'm dead. I'm dead. Yeah, I don't know. That's like pretty powerful draw from the opponent's side, so, and they were on the play. I'm not too worried about it. Locking myself underneath that Vexing Bauble ended up being quite bad for me, but kind of hard to say that would always happen if my opponent ended up with what? Saga and Academy. It's quite unfortunate. I mean, I don't think I'm like particularly worried about Urza Saga in the general. Like, it's just the fact that I had no Dress Down, no Wasteland. I just kind of had subpar cards to deal with their cards. I also have like Consigned to Memory. Like, I just kind of it's just kind of being on the draw was the biggest problem in that game. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. I don't know. I have lots of Saga answers. It's just sometimes you don't draw any of your 8 Saga answers or whatever. Can't do much about that. I mean, I could do more things about that. You could play like Ponders or something, but we kind of chose to let the pieces lie where they do here with this build. So I don't know. I feel it's really annoying because it's like the kind of the quandary and the downside of restrictions. You restrict a card, so then you're not really supposed to metagame and build your deck for the one card. Whereas if opponent had 4 Sagas, then we could like, you know, we could play 4 Dress Down here very easily. No, 4 Sagas legal was actually better. Like, it's actively much better. Like, Saga is not a card that's too good. Saga, but it's like a card that does demand you build around it. And like, I can make my deck better against Saga when there's 4 Sagas, but I can't really like I can't just like put 4 Dress Downs in my deck. I'm like, oh, because they might have a Saga. Like, that's not reasonable. You know, it's not actually good deck building. It's yeah. I mean, there's positives and negatives to people playing to the ideas of restriction. So this is a lot of Moxen and not a lot of doing anything. I don't know if this is allowable. This hand does what? This hand buys Lurrus on turn 1 and then has Lurrus Lotus Petal / Lurrus Dress Down loops and Wasteland. Is that good? I just like don't know how good this is. Especially with 3 silences in my deck. This is like the kind of hand you get baited into with Lurrus existing, because it's not a bad Lurrus hand. The problem is, like, if they have Force, or if they have Flame, or if they have Sword, if they have anything, it just becomes a dead hand, kind of. We do have, like, Strip Mine their basic, but if they have a heavy Mox in hand, it doesn't really help. I think I'm just going to look for something better. This is definitely better. It's not amazing, but it's definitely better. I think it's just bottom of Force, and then... Is it bottom of Force and Probe and see what they're working with? I think it's like a reasonable keep against Blue Black Frog, but I don't know that it's a reasonable keep against like Breach PO. Opponent also mulliganed to 6, so that's helpful. I think I am going to look for information here. Swords, Ancestral, Force, blue card, land. Yeah, we would have been destroyed by this hand. We would have been absolutely destroyed by this hand. The problem is, can I really beat this hand anyways? I have to keep all of my blue cards, and I have to keep them open, which feels very hard to do, but I guess I'm going to do it. And I don't get to fetch for Surveil Land, unfortunately, to help us make our land drops. I feel like I just have to, though. It's a good draw. See if they go Ancestral or if they go... Yeah, they're going to go Ancestral with this on the stack. Makes sense. We're going to get a lot of value off our Spell Pierce here. It was pretty obvious we had a 1-mana counterspell the way we played out our turn. Trap this. All right, so they have one unknown with swords and Blooded Strand. I am not going to jam Stony here because, well, they have a swords. I mean, it just restricts me. Like, I should make them use their swords on Lurrus, right? I think I just wait. Kind of an unfortunate looking Stony Silence, but... Archive. Been to Crypt. Been to Crypt? I guess they can get it back with Lurrus. So maybe it's fine. Interesting. No, I can see the reasoning. It's just kind of, I think gut instinct is that it's a little odd to me, but like if their plan is Lurrus, then it makes sense, right? I need to hold up the ability to, so like, I think I buy and play Lurrus here. I don't think my opponent will play their own Lurrus. I think they'll swords me. I guess they could have land and sword and swords and Lurrus. Maybe I'm just supposed to go all the way and play Stony. I mean, if I don't buy Lurrus here, isn't it like very obviously I have a force and then they just don't play it? Like, I feel like maybe the average player runs the Lurrus in here. If I'm not buying Lurrus this turn, I clearly have Force of Will, right? Like, without, like, if you are reading into, like, there's nothing else I can have. It's just a complete tell. So if they play, like, yeah, they're just not going to play Lurrus. Makes sense. That would have been pretty bad for me, though, because they had land and swords and the ability to replay everything. They also have their own Hardcast Force up right now. Okay, I think we just wait again. This time, at least I have something to play. This looks really bad for me. This Thrall has get... Like, if they go Trainer, and then I play Thrall, then they can Swords the Thrall, and they still get their Trainer, and then I... It's bad. Oh, it's really bad. I mean, they know I have Force for sure. How long are they willing to wait? They're not. Okay, that's a pretty big win for me. Wow, that's interesting. I like cutting them off red. I think I'm gonna play the Stony Silence now. It's a Breach PO. Oh, stock up so broken, man. That's gonna be bad. Oh, if I had Flusterstorm for stock up. Looks like we're losing here because I don't have the ability to grind a game like this. Man, we even like counter all their good stuff, but we just don't have any of our own good stuff because we don't have that much good stuff in our deck. All right, well, I'll try, but I know they're going to swords this. Well, I mean, I think the Lurrus deck, the PO deck is just so well constructed. It's just like, it's just nuts how good it's just so good at playing a long game with trainer and stock up. It's just unbelievable. What are you waiting for? What are you playing around? Oh, just tapping mana? Oh. Sure. Yeah, whatever. I mean, we're dead. Yeah. I don't know. This is actually a huge issue in deck building in general. Like when you build these decks that can kind of feast on some of the unfair decks of the format, you get really bullied by like the strong engine fair decks. Like I think we would have a trouble with like Sean Breach and PO. If they had played stock up there, we at least would have been able to Flusterstorm it, but now they had Breach plus Ancestral. I mean, kind of needed our own Ancestral, right? Don't really know what a winning position from here even looks like. Certainly not these cards, though. Our deck is really, really bad at playing a long game where our opponent has the ability to play lands and play spells, which is kind of the way that this PO deck was designed, is you can just play lands, play stock ups, play trainers, and you don't actually care about Stony Silence, really. Okay. Rough loss. That's kind of the downside. Yep. Yeah. It's just sad because, like, we clearly saw the reason my deck is good in the first two rounds because, like, we just crushed our Raker and our Doomsday opponents. They had no chance. But then we see the downside of playing this kind of deck here. I think it's a really good illustration of how hard it is to build all-around decks in Vintage. You're just going to have some matchups that are not going to be favorable based on how they play out, how they work. That's the card we needed in our opening hand, like our opponent. I don't think there's any chance this resolves, but maybe I can... I mean, they're probably going to go Vexing Bobble off this Saga and then PO or something. Oh, I should have played my Jet, so I had Hardcast Trap. Sorry. That was a mistake. I don't know if that matters very much because I don't have a combo kill in my deck. So like coming back from this kind of advantage is impossible. Yeah. That's a play. No, we didn't die to Saga. If you say we died to Saga here, like, that's just the most... Either you don't have any idea what you're talking about, or it's a disingenuous statement. We didn't die to Saga here. And if you say we died to Saga here, you have a really bad... It's a big problem. What did we actually die to here? We died to Ancestral Recall and Stock Up. Like, we didn't die to Saga. That's so nonsense. I hate when people say stuff like that. Exactly. We would have died to the Otters. People have a really hard time assigning correct... What's the word I'm looking for? Not blame, the opposite of blame. Nice. Credit? Oof, I'm dead. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's just like, it's very important to understand what the key cards in a match are, what cards actually created the win, and putting opponent to 0 life is not actually what... Me going to 0 life is not what lost me the game. I lost the game when my opponent, resolved the cards to put them into a card advantage position. From there, it doesn't actually matter how my life total goes to 0. It's just that I can no longer participate in the game where my opponent can build out a snowballing advantage of cards. So, but again, like I said, that's kind of by design. Our deck is not built to play a long game like that. Our deck is built to attack fast combo, and the beauty of the Jeskai PO deck is that it can play as both fast combo and as Jeskai control. I run that for the public, and I try to make sure everyone knows about it because it's... so it's probably Raker then, or could be Sphere Shops. He has played Sphere Shops in the past. His hand's not very good against either, but... Lodestone Golem. That can resolve. Yeah, I agree. But Lodestone Golem probably doesn't mean Raker, which makes me kind of want to just force it anyways. Well, so like, here's the concept. Workshop allows you to play powerful cards ahead of curve, and you will have more powerful cards than I will have forces. So using your forces against workshops is very important to hit the right cards. And theoretically, this is a card we can actually play through because we have artifact mana and we have Lurrus to trade. But it's not a card we have to play through. So you're like, I mean, obviously this Flusterstorm is dead, so we're going to want to use this Force anyways. But like, if I force this and they follow up with a One Ring, I don't think they're playing a One Ring, but like, say this is Raker and they play a One Ring after, and we like lose the game on the spot, then you're like, well, maybe I shouldn't have forced the card that we can actually play through. But that's the thinking. Right. I think Golos is more impactful, but it's not like end all be all either, so. I exposed my Tundra here because I want to be able to Mystical Archive and put cards in the yard for Lurrus, and I'm not actually worried about getting Wastelanded here, so. Opponent is not worried about me Wastelanding here either. I mean, see? Like, this is a perfect example of maybe we should have let the Lodestone Golem resolve so we don't lose the game on the spot. Yeah, well, not me as a known jammer who doesn't care if he loses when things happen. He just says, "Well, you should have drawn a blue card." We're super dead now, by the way, because there's a wasteland and we can't play through it. So, also these are all of our artifacts in our entire deck. I don't know. I'm not saying it's like it's very hard to say. It's not like 100% wrong or correct. There are just positives and negatives to each approach here. And there's certainly justification for forcing the lodestone. I don't think it's bad to force the lodestone. I just think it's possible that they have more important cards that we need to counter. Unfortunately for us, we were like a little hamstrung by the Lotus Petal and the fetch land because we want to buy Lurrus. So if we buy Lurrus there, then we have to use our Lotus Petal to cast Force, and then we can't cast Lurrus. It's not Jewel Shops. There's a Wasteland. It's not a main deck Worm Coil. They got it off Karn. So, like, I'm going to concede rather than show them this card. I don't think this is worth playing out. But yeah, I mean, like this game had a choice. We could have chosen not to force Lodestone. We made the choice to force Lodestone, and we lost the game because we made that choice. So it is what it is. I'm going to bring in Consigned to Memory here, and I'm going to bring in Seal of Cleansing, which are great cards, and maybe this Swords to Plowshares. We'll see. And we want all of our lands. We don't really want Vexing Bauble or Flusterstorm or Misstep or Probe. So lots of easy cards to take out. I don't know. I just think it's important that you don't like lose that game and then say, "Oh, we got vintaged. We nothing we could have done." No, there was a choice. It wasn't a pretty choice, but like I laid out all the reasoning why you might make the choice not to force Lodestone. It's like basically that exact scenario. Now, if I had drawn a blue card, it would have been correct to force Lodestone, right? If I force Lodestone and then I force Karn, then I'm super far ahead. I have a Lurrus and I get Lurrus going. Like, and I think I would not have forced Lodestone if the Lotus Petal was a Mox. But because it was a Lotus Petal, that was what pushed me over the edge personally. Because I need to fetch a basic, buy Lurrus, and then if I need to force the Karn, I have to use the Lotus Petal, and then I don't actually have the land to play Lurrus on the next turn. So, I don't know. So that's what pushed me over the line. But like maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I should not have gone back over the line. So it's just a pro white creature for mono white. I mean, this hand kind of sucks, but don't think I'm mulliganing it. I also have like main deck Sword, which is an argument to like theoretically letting Lodestone go for a little while. But Lodestone is absolutely at its best on turn 1. I didn't actually have any good answers in my hand to Lodestone besides like Lurrus, and then in which case he just doesn't attack. So I need to see if I want to leave this Scrawler and play for a turn. At the very least, I'll take 1 and draw a card and see more information. No, I don't think I do. I think this set of cards answers it. If I hadn't drawn this Consign, I would maybe consider letting the thing draw me an extra card. If I don't get Wastelanded here, I will probably, and I don't cast one of these spells, I probably will get a Meticulous Archive, though I think it's kind of likely we'll have to cast one of these spells, in which case we'll get a basic island. I hate that idea. I don't know that mm, I hate that idea. Well, we saw them get a Wormcoil engine out of their sideboard, so they can. It's going to be hard for them to beat a Dreadnought if we get Dreadnought in play, though. Crawler always seems like the worst card in the deck it's in. That is true, but also Crawler is not really for the decks that I've been playing recently. So it's not like I'm playing Volt Key decks, right? It's not like I'm playing Jewel. I don't really like the idea of letting this Patchwork resolve, so I'm going to consign it. I also want to make sure I'm playing a spell every turn to try to get to this cruise. Oh, you're saying, like, should I just go for Dreadnought, consign? Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, that's possible. I guess if we are assuming that there's no way we can get stopped by it. So if we get wastelanded and opponent plays a sphere, we have Spell Pierce and we have 2 mana. So yeah, I guess we can't lose that way. So what are the downsides? What are the worst things that can happen? I guess the worst thing that can happen is a Metamorph, but a Metamorph is still just balanced. It's not losing. I guess like a Golos, Tabernacle, Wasteland, Crucible Loop. Yeah, okay, I'm down. I kind of agree. I was like kind of looking at playing looking at playing a game plan revolving around like counter cruise get ahead, but this is also a very reasonable, and this is a matchup where Dreadnought does shine because it's a hard to deal with permanent for the sphere decks. Oh, they could have a Masticores, but the sphere deck usually doesn't have very many Masticores, if any. It's more the combo decks that usually have Masticores. Academy, 4 mana. Stonecoil Serpent. Okay. So I think this worked out pretty well then. It is playing a different style here. I immediately drew. I don't have that many. I swear I don't have that many artifacts in my deck, but it feels like we keep getting randomly hosed. I will play a Dreadnought. I'm going to use the Tundra so that I can keep this basic island up here, though I don't know how good Spell Pierce is going to be now that my opponent has a Tolarian Academy active. Oh, those creatures will be bigger than Dreadnoughts. And I can't Spell Pierce this, so... Yeah, I mean, I think this Dreadnought plan is not panning out, but I don't think that consigning my opponent's automaton matters much. Though consigning either of these would have been quite reasonable. I assume this is going to be, yeah, Inventor's Fair. All right, well, at least we got a Spell Pierce on this Crucible, because if this Crucible resolved, we would be dead for sure, so. I'm looking real rough here, though. A Wasteland is a good draw. I'm going to throw these both into the Chalice. And then cruise. Caracasing a Golos is not very good. What about attacking? What does attacking look like? Kind of bad. They have a good block here if they're not afraid of swords. Also, they have infinite mana, so I kind of need to have negation up. I think I'm just lost. I think I'm actually just lost. This was quite a strong set of cards. This was not a very good Treasure Cruise either. I don't think your play lost the game for what it's worth. Because I would have maybe consigned the Patchwork, which is not the problem here. They just had a lot of gas. If I hadn't tapped my Caracas, I could make an attack with Dreadnought here. So maybe I fucked up in tapping, but I wanted to have access to blue and white mana. I think I'm attacking. No hesitation. Okay. Wait, what? Stupid blocker change. I thought I had it ordered, but it's not that way anymore. Okay. Let's see. This gets 2 mana off the board. So now they have 3 mana, 4 mana, 5 mana, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they can search and make a construct if they want. I just don't think this Tameo matters. I don't think the Tameo matters. Hey. Like, I need to be able to negate a Crucible here. I guess they could just, like, Inventor's Fair for another Golos. I did not expect our deck to lose to Sphere Shops. But, oh, that's good enough, I guess. I can't really afford to be taxed at all here. Surprised they used the Inventor's Fair to do that and not just use the Ancient Tomb so that they could theoretically use the Inventor's Fair after. I think that's too late, unfortunately. Oh yeah, I got 2 dress downs. It doesn't win though. They just Inventor's Fair for a Crucible and I lose. Like I technically I need to wasteland all 3 of these lands. I have a Dreadnought. I just need to get to Lurrus. I wonder if I'm... I think I need to wasteland the Inventor's Fair, hope they brick, and then draw Dress Down. I think I just have to do that. I think it's my only way to win. Cause I don't think I can't beat another Crucible at this point, so I have to just hope that I draw Dress Down, answer those 2 things. I mean, I might just take too much damage and die, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I die actually anyways. So I would have to draw Dress Down into Swords. I don't know if it matters. I'm just too far behind. My opponent, this Tolarian Academy was so good. I mean, we have draws here like Ancestral Walk, stuff like that. Oh, if they ripped a Sphere off the top. Okay, now we're actually dead on board. Okay, yeah, I mean, I think my opponent had basically the perfect cards here. I don't think there's much I can do there. That game, I don't know that I had a lot of choices that mattered. I think we were just overwhelmed. Game 1, I think we had a choice that mattered. I'm pretty surprised to lose this, heads up. But we got randomly carned on our triple Mox hand. I mean, we have main deck consigns, Spell Pierce, Trap, 4 consigns, 4 swords, Seal of Cleansing, Lavinia. Yeah, I mean, I would want to be on my side of this matchup, but that doesn't mean that you can't lose, so. Raphael. I was not recording any of that. Was I not recording any of that? Okay. Where did I stop? Correct. Build out a snowballing advantage of cards. Oh, yeah, I did not record any of that. I need to go get it. Can I get it while I'm playing? From Twitch? That a thing I can do? I think so. Okay, we're on to round 5 now. I'm kind of sad we started a nice 2-0 and then a couple tough losses. I feel like the Lurrus PO matchup is a pretty stylistic, hard matchup. And then I felt like the Sphere Shops matchup we actually had a pretty good game against, but it just didn't line up in the way we needed it to that round. We obviously had the choice we made in the game 1, which, you know, we can argue about that one. I think it's reasonable to have said I could let the low zone resolve, but it's hard to let the low zone resolve. Doesn't feel easy to do. This hand against an unknown opponent, possible Sphere Shops. I actually think this hand's actually okay against possible Sphere Shops, which is funny because we have mana. Like, this hand is obviously unplayable against anything else. But I typically do not mulligan mana against Sphere Shops, so that could come back and bite me, obviously, but let's see what happens. Ooh, that's quite a bad one for me here. Mana Vault. Uh-oh. Is it Raker now? And we're doomed? That's really aggressive. It's kind of problematic, actually. There's more? Oh. I see. Well. Feel stupid. I'll tell you that much. I should have known my opponent would play a Saga, a 3-drop, and a 4-drop on turn 1. You know, where are my Mind Break traps? Well, it's so tough because, like, if I mulligan this hand and I keep a 1-land hand with, like, 2 forces, like, there are just so many series of draws that my opponent can play that are bad for me. Would Mind Break Trap have helped? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're not lost here, but the fact that my opponent had another Mox so they can make Saga tokens is pretty bad for me. I don't know, like, do we think that, like, my heuristic is bad? It's just so hard because, like, for every hand that looks like this that my opponent has, they can have, like, Crucible, Wasteland, Sphere Resistance, right? Like, and so, like, the cards I need to beat this hand are completely different than the cards I need to beat, like, a classic hand. I keep drawing all my artifacts against turn 1 Karns. I only have 5 artifacts in my deck. Or 5 artifact mana in my deck. Yeah, my mana got turned off by Karn. I guess my situation is a lot better if it's not Karn, I guess, but it's not that much better. Yeah, stand up that Graph Digger's cage. Get in there. Get rowdy. What do I need to win this game? Not a basic island, I can tell you that much. I think I need a consign for my Dreadnought. All right. I don't know. Maybe I'm a fool and that kind of hand is never keepable, but it's possible. I'm gonna bring in the same stuff as last time. Probe, Misstep, Bobble, and Flusterstorm out. I'm gonna be real upset if I lose twice to freaking Sphere Shops with this deck with a Seal of Cleansing Lurrus loop. 2 dress downs for Saga tokens. I have a lot of good answers. But maybe I'm just, you know, my cards are only as good as the cards I draw, and if I don't mulligan, then I can't draw them, right? So, I don't know. I feel like my logic makes sense on keeping versus Sphere Shops, but maybe I just have to go for something more powerful. Especially when I have 2 Mindbreak traps. Yeah, I mean, this hand's great. I'm in. It's kind of interesting how to play this one out. I think I can just go fetch go. It's kind of bad actually, because like if I have to use consign and then I get wastelanded, it's like not great for me. The mana situation is a little awkward for sure. Sapphire. Strip mine. Okay, well. Alright, we're gonna try letting this one go again. See if that works out for us here. Lavinia. That actually seems quite good. I think I want to get the Lavinia down. Feels weird, but against like turn 1 strip mine mocks, it should restrict my opponent quite a good deal on what cards they can play. Yeah, I don't know. Like we tried that last time. It went so badly. Didn't it go so badly the last time we did that? Like we did that and we died immediately on the spot. I guess we didn't have a force last time, right? I guess like the worst possible outcome of this would be getting double wasted, maybe? I don't know. I don't know. This feels like the perfect place for Lavinia, though. I just feel like this is the spot where Lavinia is actually stopping my opponent from playing spells. I don't know. It's a quick clock though. Maybe the force is the difference. Last time we didn't have a force when we did this. And last time we didn't have a force when we did this, so maybe that's the difference. I'll try it. I'll try it. I'm down for Dreadnought science. It's just so rare to have a place where Lavinia is actively good. that it makes me want to actually play it. What up? I think I'm gonna just get a Tundra. It's still good. It's a pitch to forest. Yeah, so is Stormcrow. All right, let's give it a shot. See what happens. I don't know. We were in this almost exact situation last round against Sphere Shops where we played a Dreadnought with our consign and then immediately died because we chose to not have our consign for things that actually mattered. But chat, I swear to God, if it happens again, I'm gonna be so pissed. I have to fucking force this or they can just triple block, right? Ay. All of this would have been stopped by just playing Lavinia. I don't know. I think I'm just smarter than chat. I think that's what we're going to come down to here. I think chat's going to win here, unfortunately. The force is the difference maker. I think that's acceptable. Yeah, the force is the difference. I mean, Lavinia would also have won here for sure, right? Like, they didn't have a land. It turns off all of their spells. They strip mine me? Like, I think my line also won. And I think my line was less risky too. And it's not true. Like if they had Wasteland and Strip Mine, then my line has some risk involved. That was the thing I was the most worried about. Is if I like play Lavinia and they go Wasteland Strip Mine me, like that's the thing I'm the worst worried about. I don't know. It's tough. Hard to say. Run it back. I'm not dead. I'm not dead. Like I still have a land in hand that helps me find other lands, and they're behind. All they have is a Mox and a Patchwork, and like I'm still going to get a Dreadnought. Like I think it just eliminates a lot of the worst case scenarios. You missed the last game, Brian, where like the exact thing I'm describing happened, but it's fine. Oh, so like. I don't think Thrall stops a lot, no. Not against their deck. So I think my opponent is like kind of aggro heavy enough that I can't actually keep hands like this. But like if they go Sphere, Crucible, Lock, like this is like kind of the hand you want. Like, all right, I should learn from my mistake in game one and just the Patchwork is on cast, not on ETB. And they wouldn't be able to cast Nettlesis because I had a Lavinia in play. So the Patchwork will still grow. I don't know. This is the kind of hand I just died to in game one by keeping, so I'm gonna try mulliganing it. Well, that's the thing. Like this is Prison Shops. It's just Aggro Shops is Prison Shops in 2026. Like the Sphere deck with Crucible and Wasteland also just plays Patchwork Automatons and Nettlecysts and that kind of cards. They are the same. That's why I changed it from Aggro Shops and Prison Shops in the data to just Sphere Shops. All right. Well, like this, like I mulliganed. I kept this hand in game one, and my opponent used their entire hand and put 7 pieces of permanents into play, and I lost on the spot. Now, are they more likely to do that, or are they more? They did mulligan once here. They're already on 6. Or are they more likely to like Crucible, Wasteland, Sphere, block me? I have a Saga, so they have to have a Wasteland or they're going to lose to the Saga immediately with Sphere, Sapphire, right? I have a Wasteland, but Wasteland's pretty bad if they go like Workshop, Patchwork, Mox, you know? Historically, I've kept these kind of hands. But again, I don't have fetches though. These are Tundras, not fetches, so the Treasure Cruise is basically dead. Wouldn't I lose in either scenario? Well, I'm trying to explain the different types of games my opponent's deck can play, and I'm trying to determine which is more likely. They like vomit their hand on turn 1, or they play like one spell or two spells a turn, like one spell plus Wasteland a turn. I don't know. I don't know the answer because I'm my classic heuristic is to keep something like this against Sphere Shops, but they are more aggressively slanted. It seems like they're more aggressively slanted, and we have actionable cards to mulligan to. But if we mulligan to like a hand that's like force Mindbreak Trap 1 land and then get Wastelanded, it's like really bad, right? Let's try mulliganing this time. Like, is this hand is good? I think this hand is good. Well, I shouldn't have said Wasteland lock me. Obviously, if they Wasteland lock me, that's bad. But if they like play the Sphere of Resistance Wasteland game, my hand is good, right? That's what I'm trying to explain, but doing kind of a bad job of it. This hand is better, I think, so. Though I don't know. I think I'm putting back one of my forces, probably. Probably the negation. I don't think we're getting to the point where we're casting this negation. See what happens. I don't know how good Tamiyo is here, but it doesn't seem bad. No, I don't think you misunderstood. I think I did a bad job articulating what I was trying to say. Because obviously if they like high roll a Crucible Wasteland lock against my non-fetch land hand, it's going to be bad. So like bad terminology usage. Just mostly saying like my opponent's deck has the ability to play Sphere Wasteland slow prisony game, and it has the ability to play Patchwork Automaton, Nettlesis, attack you game. So stuff. Oh, I think I'm pitching Dress Down to force. I don't think this Dress Down is better than playing a Tamiyo, right? I sure hope it isn't. If that's the case, I should just not re-registering this Tamiyo card at all, which, I mean, that's also possible, to be fair. Like, this Dress Down is basically only great against Saga, the one Saga, and if they are playing Goloses, which they might not be, Goloses. Scrawling Crawler. like, isn't my other hand a lot better against this start? Like, am I forcing the Scrawling Crawler? I think I am. I think I'm just tempoing here. They mulliganed pretty hard. I don't want to give them any cards, so. I have basic island, basic plains fetch as well, which is quite nice. This jet lets me cast Lurrus off basic island, which is quite nice. Hopefully I just draw a million cards off this Tamiyo and win. That's my plan, I guess. It feels weird. I'm not playing Legacy. I'd love to get like a Seal of Cleansing Lurrus loop going at some point. That is like a card I put in my sideboard specifically to have in this matchup. So I guess I can't tutor it, so I should kind of expect that I'm not going to draw it very often. Who are we talking to? You don't see chat? I don't know. Twitch is should show in like the video. Patchwork turn 2. That's not bad for us. 3 cards in my opponent's hand. Wasteland, we covered that. Nice. Okay, that's like a really like this sequence is like really weak, right? I drew my planes. I think what I want to do is attack with Tamiyo, get a clue, and pass, holding open negation so I don't get crucibled and have the ability to crack my clue without fetching. So, though I could technically fetch for a Meticulous Archive. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. Is this going to be our first game where Tamiyo does something? To be fair, I could have flipped a Tamiyo in one of the other games, but I was so far ahead it didn't matter. I don't know where opponent's off to. What are you talking about, CRK? Why? What is this batch we're gonna do? Probably should have played this pre-comp. If they hadn't dismembered, they would have just dismembered. So there's like kind of no point. All right. Post combat, fetch land, hold up, negation, clue, and see what opponent's up to on their turn. One? That's not a good sign for the opponent. What does that mean? It means they have all lands in hand? It means they have all lands in hand. Weird. Well, nice long game with Tamiyo definitely is good for us here, so. The difference between this hand that my opponent kept here and the hand they kept in game one is like so it's like light and day, huh? Like there's just it's so crazy. Should I try to flip Tamiyo? Is it worth it to flip Tamiyo? I kinda don't want to flip Tamiyo. I kinda just want to keep cracking clues. What do we think about meticulous archiving here? Silly? Probably silly. Because this way I can hold up. Ooh, okay. I could flip Tamiyo. Wait, does Tamiyo wouldn't flip if I dress down, huh? I'm pretty down to just get a Dreadnought in play. I think we're winning this game. All right. My opponent kept, I guess, Crawler, Patchwork, Wasteland, and their Crawler got answered, and the deck drew land is what I would assume happened, which is kind of the problem with playing workshops in general. Yeah. All right. That's a little bit more like how I expected this matchup to go. It was still kind of weird, some of the games, but onward to round 6. Okay, here we are, 6th and final round of our Vintage Challenge with pretty bad breakers. Might be another Sphere Shops opponent, so we'll get a lot of testing in on this matchup. Stony Silence, Spell Pierce, Fetch, Land, and a Wasteland. Why are we getting these, like, these super weak hands that have a lot of lands? Unfortunately, I think this one is quite bad. I'm going to put this one back. Obviously, we have a lot of lands, but our cards that we do have just really don't do a lot, and we've been learning that we're supposed to mulligan, so. Oh god. Okay. Yeah, I mean, risk it for the biscuit. See what happens. I will put one of these white cards away. Let's see what you got for us. Ancient Tomb, Sphere of Resistance. Yeah, I will force it. Lotus Petal, Ancestral Recall myself. Interesting. Wasteland. Well, this person's playing Golo, so it can't be me, right? But there's a lot of Sphere Shops right now. I think I said the magic words, CRK. I said, guys, this deck isn't bad. Trust me. And then they all came out to play. Patchy Boy? Null Rod. Yeah, buddy. That's a resolver in my book. Let's just keep this for a fetch of a basic, I think. I think this is a pretty winning game. I kind of thought this matchup should be quite good, and obviously we got crushed in the first time we played it, but the next couple of matchups have looked really, really one-sided, so... Well, Mono White's already kind of on a little bit of a comeback. I don't know what happened there. Maybe somebody won a round or something. Ooh, Wasteland again. I think I'm going to fetch Basic Island stuff. Yeah, I think I'm going to fetch Basic Island. Oh, wait, I have Lorien revealed, so maybe I should fetch Basic Plains. Doorkeeper Thrall. How does that make you feel, opponent? Does it signal the end? The beginning of the end? Yeah, Tundra down, baby. I will play a 12-12 trample. And I guess I'll play this. Get in there. I have force misstep dress down still. I think that's it. So this one we definitely know it's Golos with the Caracas. 4 mana. Karn. Why did all my opponents have Karns today? That's like the 4th Karn we've played against on... Yeah, I guess this was turn 5, so that's pretty reasonable. But the other ones were all turn 1. Wow, that's a hell of a draw. Sure. Okay. What you got for me? Four mana. Oh no! Yeah. I'm gonna kill them with flyers, but that's a Phyrexian Dreadnought. And double Wasteland. All right. Didn't have up my island. Ah. It's pretty good too, I guess. I will play another Phyrexian Dreadnought. Alright. Seems good. I don't think I needed it, but I appreciate it. Now I'm drawing hot. What happened? What happened? Alright. Same plan as last time. Consign, Swords, and Seal of Cleansing, which we haven't gotten to play against our opponents yet. Taking out Flusterstorm, Misstep, Probe, and Vexing Bauble. Pretty nice mapping, actually, all things considered. I've been very happy with this deck, to be fair. The PO matchup was tough, obviously, but and you know, losing that one Sphere matchup was sad, but I've been really happy with how this played. Like, this deck was very, very good into Raker. It was very good into very good into Doomsday, and it's like been okay against Sphere Shops. It was really bad into Lurrus PO though. So yeah. Yeah, this is fine. Kind of a bad mana situation, actually, but what's the guy gonna do? We'll pitch the spell here. Jesus. Is it turn 1 card again? Lodestone! I know! Alright, this time I can't counter the Lodestone. And strip mine! Oh no. Not like this. Well, I think I'm dead. My opponents have had some serious Moxen draws. Been very sad. Alright. I think we're dead. I kept my Force of Negation is just not Force of Will, man. It really is just not the same card. Patchy Boy and follow up 4 mana card, follow up 3 mana card, and oh no, Metamorph on Lodestone. Oh boy, yeah, all right, I've invested. My bad, I shouldn't have kept my negation hand. Silly me. Mana Crypt is fucked up. All right. This is why we're not allowed to have multiple Lodestones, by the way. Okay. I still don't really like Vexing Bauble in the matchup. Obviously, on the play, it gets better, but I don't really think that's what you're trying to do here. And we are very heavily based on free spells. I'd rather just have my consign to Spell Pierces. Yep. I keep. Hopefully, we don't get wastelanded out of this game. Take it back. Take it back before you get banned. It's your one warning. What did I call it? I need to make the other one count too. What do we got? Chalice on 1. Chalice on 1. That's some illegal shit right there. That is not allowed. You may not resolve Chalice on 1. Good lord, that would be bad for me. I do not want to play a game with a Chalice on 1. Dready Boy? Not great. Can't really buy Lurrus here either. That's why we don't play 4 Dreadnoughts. I'm out of counters, so that's not great. Hopefully they just play Scrawling Crawler or something. Oh, it's so bad for me. It's so bad for me. It's so bad for me. Should I Swords this and lose my pedal and go down to nothing? Nah. I resist. I have so many lands in this deck, though, so we should be fine. I have like 18 lands plus 2 Lorians. I shouldn't have to deal with too many complications. Oh boy. Just need to keep hitting land drops. That's fine. This time Lodestone is no problem. We're far enough in this right place here. Just get this out of the way. I think it's better to get island than plains here. Could be wrong. Still just want to hit land drops. Kind of want to get a Meticulous Archive, but Time Walk. Rebuy. Wasteland. Wow. That is interesting. I need to buy Lurrus. What's the meta for good sleeves? God, I don't know. It feels like every sleeves are bad these days, and I'm not sponsored by any of them, so I won't even lie to you. Tell you there are good ones. I actually don't know. The last couple of boxes of sleeves of every kind I've gotten, I've been very unhappy with. My opponent has a Wasteland for my second white source, huh? And then a Stone Coil Serpent, I assume? Stone Coil Serpent. Well, this Mindbreak Traps look pretty bad. Well, hopefully I just keep drawing white sources, because I'm running out of time here. No, not like this, man. I should have fetched the planes! Oh! Oh, I mean, I would put perfect cards on things for sure, but I don't know about like the outer sleeves. Well, I couldn't have fetched a Surveil Land if I wanted to Swords the turn I did. But I could have fetched a basic planes. I guess at that point I would have gotten my basic planes Strip Mined, but I am in trouble, man. I am in trouble, man. Yeah, I'm trying to hold my Lotus Petal so I can use it to cast my Lurrus. That's the whole point. I'm going to wasteland them off Workshop. Hope they don't have anything follow up. Draw planes, go Lurrus, Lotus, Petal, Swords, and hope that's enough. Saga? No. Why has this gone so badly? No, I can't even spell pierce it. This is what I was talking about, chat. This is the kind of game where I was like, I want to have a lot of lands, you know? I mean, I have to just hope to rip it, right? No. All right, well, this is my fault, but also, like, come on. Stupid Phyrexian Dreadnought. Just have Academy. Okay, well, I'm dead. That went really badly. That went so badly. What did I keep? How did this... This is what I'm talking about, though. Like, this is exactly what I was talking about in our previous Sphere matchups. This is the kind of game I expect from them. It's just a bad mana hand, right? Just no fetches, no basics. And they didn't have an overwhelming Mox in hand, so the Mindbreak Trap wasn't online. I mean, I'm glad I did this. That's fine. I drew a dead card immediately. Then they played a Patchwork. Then they wastelanded me. I could have immediately Swords this Patchwork, which was an option using my Lotus Petal, but I felt like having my Lotus Petal for later was more important. Certainly a choice I made, for sure. I don't know, like what if I draw, like, Ancestral and things? All right, but I immediately draw Fetch Land. They play a Lodestone, and then I chose to Swords not using my Lotus Petal, which makes sense. I think it's just this spot right here. I just need to get basic planes, right? I just need to get basic planes. I mean, it's not straightforward. Like, I want to be able to cast blue spells. If I'd gotten basic planes, then I wouldn't have been able to cast Time Walk. So yeah, I guess not. I'm trying to like have lands in play for after I get wastelanded. If I'd gone Tundra, I would have Time Walked into this wasteland here. I would have bought Lurrus, and then they would have wasted me off. Yeah, I mean, I might win this game with resolving Lurrus here. I think I probably still just fucking lose, unfortunately. But I would have at least been able to play Lurrus, Lotus Petal here, Swords, the Stone Coil Serpent. Then they would have played Saga. I'd have a Wasteland for it, and I'd have Lotus Petal, but I'm still, like, actually in a really bad spot. But this is not as bad, so I don't know. I guess I just had to get Tundra here. Feels really counterintuitive to be getting Tundra here, but I had to get Tundra. Feels really bad. I mean, I wanted to get Meticulous Archive, but I had to Swords the Lodestone with my mana, so it just has to be Tundra. It feels like kind of unnecessary because like I've already gotten wastelanded once, right? So if I just like draw land instead of time wall, I mean I drew land anyways, and I played land and I bought Lurrus. Like I mean I just didn't have white. All right, it was just this fetch here. This fetch has to be Tundra apparently. Okay. Lessons learned. I think my deck is quite good, and I don't even think the Sphere Shops matchup is bad. If you wanted to make it better, you could play more seals. You could play Serenity if you really wanted to. Serenity fucking lights that deck up. I just like don't think you're supposed to need to. Like I have Dreadnought is already quite good against Sphere. So is like main deck Consigns and Spell Pierces. I'm not on a huge number of Flusterstorms. I kind of think that's, I mean, misplays and slight variance, but going 1-2 against Sphere Shops is not a great look for a deck that I think is already pretty boarded for Sphere Shops. Like we put 4 cards in, 4 cards out. It's not a huge amount. And we got quite a bit better post board with 2 more Consigns, a Seal of Cleansing, and a Swords. We never got to use Seal of Cleansing, which is kind of a part of this deck that's a really big problem. And I don't really want to play one-ofs because I can't find them, because I don't have a lot of draw in my deck. So like the answer might just be I have to like put 2 seals in my sideboard, or put a seal and a Serenity in my sideboard. And like, you know, you can see how I put 2 pieces of different graveyard hate, 2 Consign, 2 empty, 4 swords, 3 stony. Like main, I think it's like you can get away with like these one-ups a little bit more, but like post, you know, if you're trying to find a thing that matters, then you're going to need to put multiple copies of it, because our deck is not playing Dig Through Time. Our deck is not playing Stock Up. Our deck is not playing Ponder. So, yeah, I don't know. I do think I liked the 4 Doorkeeper Thrall, 3 Dreadnought action. Unfortunately, the metagame actually did not pan out in a way where Doorkeeper Thrall was good all 6 matches. It was only half of the time. It was great, obviously, against Raker, and it was great against Doomsday, and it was okay against Lurrus PO, and then it was bad against Sphere Shops, which is unfortunate. Facing 3 Sphere Shops was not exactly expected, but not unexpected, because I have been watching the metagames. I just thought that having Seal, 4 Consigns, and 4 Swords would be enough, and it kind of wasn't. But it's really weird because like the ways we lost to Sphere Shops were all fucking different. Like we lost to turn 1 10 mana Urza Saga Karn. We lost to you know, like play a patchwork, or play 1 card per turn, wasteland you twice. So yeah, I don't know. Interesting thoughts. I think this Doorkeeper Thrall Dreadnought deck is probably a little bit underplayed in Vintage, just because it's quite good against some of the main metagame players when you hit the right metagame matchups. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this kind of off meta deck. More Vintage content on this YouTube channel every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'll see you then.